though? What's shaking? Man.
It's been a minute.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Demonstration TV 369
And politically incorrect.
all the time. Rocking with your boy William Winfall.
Damn, this boy Gilly done turned up with the whips.
You said Gilly is?
Oh no, this might be Wallow shit, but boy, oh boy.
Man.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It went crazy, man.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to $1 Million worth of game, man.
Oh, that bitch fire.
Man, Gilly and Wallow are doing it as usual.
All black.
Man, killing.
Black
Ooh, ooh, real presidential in the driveway, baby. I think this might be Wallow shit, man. But
Speaking
man,
of Gilly and
shout out to everybody doing their thing out here, grinding, man.
Speaking of Gilly and Wallow, they just had my boy T Grizzly on $1 million worth of game.
I thought this is the second time.
Yeah, he was just on there last night. Yeah, last night.
This ain't the first time, is it?
No, he was just on there last night.
Man, shout out to fucking T Grizzly,
And I'm
man.
gonna
That
tell you why.
motherfucking chapters of the trenches.
That's the reason why.
When you put me
Chapters
up on
of the
that shit,
Trenches.
I seen. And shout out to the boy, what's me boss son name? Kid J. I seen the picture. You know, we basically in Detroit, but I seen Kid J. Me boss shared some photos
I just seen
of the
him earlier.
premiere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was a real nice look out there. But man, aside from all that, the boy T Grizzly, I'm gonna put it out there like this, and I might hurt some feelings with this.
What
I
you
might,
got to
I
say?
might be hurting some feelings.
What you
with
got to
this.
say?
But if we talking about best rap album of the year,
And why?
we talking about Kendrick Lamar and the way that he approached rap music,
Yeah.
we gotta be talking about T Grizzly.
T Grizzly.
We
T
gotta-
Grizzly.
This might be the dopest project.
This the dopest project, man.
Heard.
Listen,
and I'm a Tupac fan. You get what I'm saying?
This is
And
exactly-
I love Payroll.
This is exactly why I like the
You
T
know what I'm
Grizzly
saying? I
shit.
love Dope Boys. You know what I mean? Like,
I
man.
ain't heard this kind of epic storytelling in a long ass time, man. Matter of fact, I ain't heard no epic storytelling since Rest in Peace King Von, and before that
This
DJ
might
Quick.
be another fucking level.
This another level of
It's
that
a
shit,
fucking
bro.
another level. It's another level.
You got any favorites on this bitch? Because I'm about to go down the line.
It's not because of the storytelling. It's the ability that T Grizzly has to make a fucking song with
Dog.
ease. You can tell this dude been practicing
Dog.
since he was little as fuck, doing
Yeah.
this shit,
Yeah.
playing with words in his mind.
Yeah.
Because he'll take an old song, mix it with his shit, and sing that bitch in the middle of the goddamn
You
song.
talking about that Ashton Martin reference?
No, he always just going
He
back
did
to
it a
T-
few times in this.
This not the only project that T Grizzly told stories on. Somebody told him make a book out this shit.
Yeah.
Because that's how he approached this.
I'm about to tell
in
you
his-
when I started noticing that he was doing something. So I watched the T Grizzly RP all the time, right? And I started noticing that I'm starting to sing certain songs that nobody else is actually really hearing because he ain't putting them out, right? So I said, damn, this shit kind of hard. So what he would do is you would hear certain songs that he got inside of the RP, and like he'd drop it in there, like the characters, they're dropping records. I'm like, damn, that shit hard as fuck, right?
Mhm.
So then, you know, that's on the T Grizzly gaming page, right? I went to his page, and then he started uploading some of that shit.
Now you been now you know, of course, you know, if you're from Detroit, you gonna fuck with the T Grizzly wave. You've been doing this thing for a minute now, and
Yeah.
niggas been respecting it. I feel like he one of the reasons why the city is together now. You know, we got Team Eastside and Dope Boys fucking with each other, making great music.
The irony is a chick from South Central put me on to this nigga shit.
Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, T Grizzly been popping for a minute now
The RP
with
days.
quality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's always been quality with him. He kind of remind me of a Dex Osama, but he been popping with quality. But I say that you've been following T Grizzly even when it seemed like he wasn't doing music this summer. When it was, I thought he was just doing his fucking video game thing.
This nigga's a smart.
But he was in the
motherfucker.
lab creating some shit.
He was in the lab, and you will hear him too at the end.
I didn't skip no songs. I'm gonna put it like that. I'm gonna put up. I had to listen to everything in order because it makes sense when you go in order with it.
Yeah. So now, with that being said,
And I wanted to hear everything in order.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I got to give it up to Lil J and
I
Twine.
don't know if I've been this excited for a fucking song or a project like this shit. When you were saying, I'm like, man, this nigga tripping.
No,
I'm like,
no.
man, T Grizzly gonna have heavy bass. He
First
gonna have
of
a whole
all-
bunch of flow.
First of all, I'm not even on his RP page. I'm on his yeah. Right now, I'm on his T Grizzly page, his music page.
Yeah.
He got 2.6 million. No, he got 2.06 million followers. That equates to more record sales than you will see usual. Like, say for instance, I just said Lil J and Twine. This is only on YouTube. The shit got 3.1 million views. And then, you know, the part 2 got 1.4 million views. That's 3 weeks ago. The first one came out. This 6 days ago that Lil J and Twine just dropped, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he dropped.
See, I didn't hear everything like individual drop.
Yeah.
I heard the whole project.
You heard the whole project?
And that's what fucked me up. I heard all the songs you talking about. I heard them.
Yeah.
But I heard them as a project.
You heard them as a project, right?
Like I was in the whip. This is how crazy the shit had me. I went everywhere I was supposed to go and kept driving just to hear the rest of it.
That's how you know you fucking with a good ass album.
When I got to the crib, I bagged in the parking spot and kept listening. I rolled me something up and kept blowing.
Did you listen to Tez and Tone?
I listened to all that shit.
Come
on, man.
You know what my favorite one is? It's Lil J and Twine,
Mike and I think it's Mike. I can't remember, but it's about the teacher,
Miss Evans.
Nigga.
First of all, I was living vicariously through the nigga who won the bet.
You know the thing that
and the nigga, the second nigga.
Cut you off. I think T Grizzly, where he killed the game at, is he hit the dysfunctions in the community in a way where you like, yeah, y'all don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like he talked about how shit happens in the black community. Sometimes, you know, a nigga can be ahead of his time when it comes to how you pop at chicks, how you move, and you get different respects that come with that. And it's like he talked about that.
Yeah.
And this kid was in a way able to get what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the hood, we live in an advanced way to where we learn how to get what we want. Whether it's out the grind, because we come from nothing. So we got to think of how to pass all these different steps to get to, all right, now I can make moves. Because there's a lot of steps in between where you at to
where you going.
Now I can make moves. You know what I'm saying? So we was able to see that with Miss Evans. And
fact.
And even with the joint where he talking about his uncle, and his uncle went and rolled for the young nigga.
Tez and Tone.
Like, man, dog.
Tez
He talking about the dysfunctions, man. He talking about the family dysfunctions.
He said, if you die, I'm gonna miss you. But if not, it was crazy. Number one, it was crazy for the nephew. I want to say that was Tez.
Yeah.
To sit in the car. His uncle knew he was up to some shit. He followed him. My man got the blowing at him, hit him 13 times.
But that's because of the absence of the black father in the neighborhoods, man. You know, a lot of times our uncles, ours wasn't. He tried, he wanted to. But uncles really take the place of the father figure.
Definitely happens.
And you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they go the wrong way. But
No, no doubt. He hit 13 times. His uncle come out of nowhere, put 2, 3 in the back of his own homeboy head.
Oh, man.
He making money with the nigga. His whole plug cut him off. Tez heal up. Fucking the girl put him on with the scripts. Now they busting scripts coming up. He look out for
give him a route and everything. Bruh, like you got the whole thing laid out. All you gotta do is be careful. Be careful. You gotta worry about the logistics now. Yeah. To the point where you can put a person in that position and now you
just keep letting them get that money. Boom, boom, boom.
You know what I'm saying?
That's y'all, of course. I ain't trying to.
And I mean, and that's the talent of T Grizzly. Like we sit here talking about these individuals like they exist.
Yeah. These
but
people
they
are
in a
fictional.
sense.
Yeah, that's fact.
In an allegorical way, T Grizzly was able to put his music in a portrait form, in a moving portrait form, which they call cinematically.
Art imitating life.
As an artist that listens to that shit, and I heard your backpack rappers do great shit.
But this is
I'm really, really, really impressed by what T Grizzly was able to do. I think, like I said, I've said it on this podcast a few times. Nas put out 3 classic joints in a row, right?
Yeah.
T Grizzly did some shit,
and he got videos for everything. I want to say it's everything.
I didn't even watch the videos. That's gonna be a whole nother field.
And now look, I was talking to James the other night. I said, James, you gotta watch this shit. He wasn't
hearing
hearing me.
Shout out to J.O., man, doing all the fucking logos and shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, whew. That boy turned up. Y'all go get that jail hard work.
Yes, sir.
Them
Yes,
logos.
sir.
Blood of Mary Entertainment. I think he got popping off. Yeah, and the Master. He do a hell of a job at the Master.
All I gotta say is, man. No, matter of fact, I want to start with robbery. Robbery part 1 through part 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes out to robbery part 5. But
And I think he gets some of them songs from the previous project he put out.
yeah, well, again,
Like some of the inspiration for those songs.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I listened to the project before. That's how good the project was. I had to be like, oh shit, I missed some shit. So I went back from the project when he in the classroom that's graphic.
Yeah, yep.
And
I feel like he went from there.
yeah, so I listened to that project up until.
That one right there, right?
Yeah, you know, I went from that project up until, and I'm like, yeah, this nigga
He got some
he
slack.
been in a different bag.
Yeah, yeah.
For the long, I ain't realize it. Like,
Yeah.
he remind me of 50 Cent, Game, and Slick Rick, and King Von, excuse me, pardon me, mixed up. And then you get T Grizzly.
Yeah. One thing
You know what I'm saying?
One thing we can't deny is the fact that he's been there. I wanted to bring up the fact that he was just on academics platform a couple days ago as well. You know, he's doing his routes with this project, Chapters of the Trenches. He was just on $1 million worth of games.
I like
as
that
said
intro
last
song.
night.
I like that intro song. It's not really a disclaimer, but it's something to let you know that he has the right to speak on what he's speaking on. You know what I'm saying? Being a nigga that probably come from a dysfunctional background, probably come from the streets. You know what I'm saying? Having not, you know, the have-nots. You know what I'm saying? And he puts all of his negatives into a positive presentation that anybody from the hood can use and pull from.
You could feel it. You could
In
feel
a lot of your life.
Yeah.
If you don't know, if you curious about the street shit, he put it in a way we wasn't glorifying nothing. He gave you the fucking, he hit you in the face with a bat on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Most gangster rappers, they not gonna do nothing but embellish the streets.
Yeah.
He hit you in the face. He did what what's my man Troy Ave was pleading for. He gave you a picture of the streets. In a way that shows you like, damn, is that chain?
He showed. You know what? You're right. The nigga said the streets is a myth, and Grizzly showed you why the streets is a myth. Okay, so now I'm going
a
back
lot of the relationships in the street is a myth. I'm not gonna say the streets are, because if the streets are played correctly, maybe they wouldn't be.
I'm gonna go back to this.
That's in them.
I'm gonna go back to this robbery, the smash and grab he did. Shout out to Milk 74 because he actually put me into. I said, damn, let me go. He was on academic shit. I went to academic shit. He said, man, so you was in a robbery, smash and grab. You done did some time for this shit. Can you explain to me how that happened? He said, yeah. So you know, they run into the pawn shop. They go to the pawn shop. They go in that bitch. He's telling one of the dudes like, do that shit now. Do that shit now. But they asking him a question like, why y'all got hoodies on? He's like, oh yeah, man, we I believe trying to lose weight or something like that. They got a basketball game or a boxing match. They got a boxing match coming up, some shit like that, right? And so he's still pointing at the glass like, no, this one, you know, trying to, you know, put out a diversion and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
The diversion didn't work. T Grizzly gets a little bit antsy, impatient. He smashes it instead.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he smashes it, he said all he hears is freeze. And come on, man, we all know as soon as you hear freeze, you ain't thinking it's like a fellow crook. You thinking like this is a cop. This is neither. This is an off-duty dude, not off-duty, but somebody buying golf clubs. He said freeze. He said they was down for about an hour and a half before the police came, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the event of the police coming, two of the guys ended up running and getting away. Academics is like, man, I know somebody told. It was like, why would you think somebody told? Act was like, come on, man. Somebody told. Somebody had to tell. He was like, no, nobody told. We held them niggas down. He said everybody who did that bid, then they all got out at the same time.
So you saying Act did a bid?
No, Act was looking at Grizzly like, ain't nobody in that circle told. He was like, nah, nobody told. He was like, nigga, I'm from a place where a nigga walk up on you and kill you for telling, my nigga.
Yeah. Niggas can't you can't think cause 6ix9ine did some shit that's how it's going in every hood. Like, you don't even want niggas playing with your name like that, for real. You know what I'm saying?
You got a
like,
song, this is 6ix9ine.
You don't even want niggas playing with your name like that. So, yeah, Michigan, we don't rock with that shit. And yet paperwork better be on tap for a nigga to see if you putting that on the motherfucking back. You can't put that jacket on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That shit serious. That's why this project is so important, because you got young niggas coming up and they idolize niggas like T Grizzly, and he putting these stories in a way, conveying them in a way that a person can understand. Because you're gonna go back and listen to shit. It's intriguing. The shit go as far as tempo, timing, and all that. If you're looking for music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of music that you just ride into and trying to vibe. It's a music that it's gonna make you think about your environment more. Yeah. What are you putting off into your environment? What kind of imagery are you putting out there? What kind of loyalty do you have? What kind of respect do you have for your peoples? And what kind of respect your peoples have for you? Yeah. Might be a time to step away from the game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In some aspects, this shit might not be all it's cracked up to be in your mind. You might be seeing some shit in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So the project is important, and I feel like I said, I think some of the greats of this time are J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, but I think T Grizzly is making his mark when it comes down to lyrics. And I'm not, I'm not saying like Meek Mill ain't in the picture either. Meek Mill is one of them guys that went through so much adversity and is able to paint pictures too. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of, and I want to include him in that recipe to create the T Grizzly. You know,
definitely a great storyteller.
I feel like Meek Mill, his style, and I think they even rock with each other. But I think his style and what he does, it impacts artists like T Grizzly, and it's able to help their skill sets. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Meek Mill. But that generation of artists are really doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Even the Dave East, you know what I'm saying? You know, they're different caliber artists, you know what I'm saying? But I think T Grizzly is really putting on for Detroit in a way that it's gonna make the label heads continue to look into Detroit, because it's like it's too much untapped talent here. Yeah. You got cats like Eminem, and then you got cats like T Grizzly, and you got cats like Big Sean. Yeah. All of those guys are great in their own respect.
Yeah, different pockets of what it sounds like.
So imagine if you keep digging. You're going to get your Icewear Bezos, you're going to get your Payrolls, you're going to get your Peasies, you're going to get your Lou Grahams, you're going to get your Babyface Rays, you're going to get your you're going to get your HBKs, you know, you're going to get your motherfucking, man, what's the boy from Doughboy, man?
You was about to say Payroll?
No, not Pay.
So we talking about Band Gang.
Band Gang. You know, a lot of them niggas got lyrics that's even 42 Doug. Like, a lot of niggas got crazy flow.
The way the story.
Big Keys.
Big Keys, shout out to Big Keys.
Cats from Detroit, they got that different type of timing on their flow. Like, dating back to Blade Icewood. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, they approach the track different.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And I think now that Detroit is getting that respect, T Grizzly is holding the banner up, and he's making relative music to people that's in the trenches.
Speaking of that, I just saw as well that T Grizzly is on a song with I want to say, what is that dude's name again? The song something work. What's that shit called? What the fuck is that shit called again? Cause I don't like it like that, but I like it. It's in my head, like, but I keep forgetting that nigga, light skinned nigga with the beard.
Not Larry June.
The light skinned nigga with the beard with the dreads. What the fuck is that nigga name again?
Light skinned nigga with the dreads. Ty Dolla $ign?
No, he's from Detroit.
Oh, Sada Baby.
Sada Baby, yeah. He was like, I was like, what is this? They in the video together. They not in the scenes together. Yeah. But they got the hardest verses on the damn song.
And I mean, when you a boss, man, like, you make things happen for the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes you make things, even when we go back in history, you know, the countries that war with each other, they would do the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to do shit for the people and you bring it together. And sometimes that can create peace. Sometimes it ain't going to be no peace and niggas going to still drop good music.
I can't just not go by that like that, man. Shout out to Drago and Bino, man. With featuring T Grizzly and Sada Baby. That shit is hard as fuck. It's probably one of the hardest songs I heard.
Nice, my nigga.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it came out 3 weeks ago, man. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to them, man. And
I think motherfucker whatchamacallit did some shit like that. Big Sean did some shit like that before. When niggas wasn't fucking with each other, but he still put them on the same track, had to shoot the video, different locations. You know, but he was able to pull it off. So
Yeah.
if there's a will, there's a way, man.
They pulled it off.
We black kings and queens out here, man. Let's try to find a way to work together. Some shit is irreparable.
I can't even say they
the
sound like
fans
they
is
was.
going fiend for. So let's get the fans what they want.
I can't even say they sound like they was even taking shots at each other. It sounded like they was in the car doing
But
it.
you know, Detroit niggas gonna talk about that bag, man.
They was talking about that.
You know,
bag. Don't get me
not-
wrong, they was sending shots, but not at each other. It
They
seemed
not
like they
gonna
was shooting
send,
out
you
the
know,
car
Detroit
together.
niggas ain't gonna send shots at each other, man. That's not what the music is about. The music,
Yeah.
we talking, this is Motown. We talking about niggas can spend their time just making good music. You dig what I'm saying? I think Drake, he not no Detroit nigga, but he reiterated that when, and no disrespect to Meek Mill, but he reiterated that when he did Back to Back. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna drop a dog ass track, something timeless, and reference a little something in it, but it's gonna be the track that's gonna really be what's gonna be timeless. It's gonna be something that we can't erase.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do as artists when we are able to go ahead and make something happen with artists we may not see eye to eye with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Collaborations. You know, we got these Off-White and Nike collaborations. We got these demonstration and Carhartt collaborations. We got collaborations going on, man.
Yeah.
Let's
Shout out to the
ride the
has-beens
wave,
too,
man.
Shout out to the has-beens.
Shout out to the has-beens, man. Yeah.
Speaking of, sometimes people not getting along. Next up in the news, we got 50 sitting his son, 25-year-old Marquise, turns 25. Then he takes shots at his father, saying $6,700 wasn't enough.
Shout out to 50 Cent being a great father.
Listen, bro, you could have had $25,000 a month, but your mom decided to take your dad to court. It did. The judge
Why would you
reduced
want
it.
$25,000 in a lump sum when you getting $80,000?
Though it was
for the year?
$25,000 a month. He was okay paying that.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you gotta be you gotta have a backbone. And I think 50 is an allegorical guy.
Dog.
He's teaching his son a lesson through all of this.
So with that being said, he puts out, it looks like $6,700. Says entitled. You know how that shit goes. And then 50 put up broke again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the 50 Cent G Unit antics that always
Like, how
come
you
out.
flexing with your dad money?
Come on, bro.
How you flexing with you? Because essentially, what you're not doing. Even if you had a job, my guy,
Yeah.
you will be looking at 10 bands a month, easy.
Come on, bro.
And you're not even doing that.
67. You living in a good space.
Come on, man.
6,700 a month is great.
And then you're disrespectful for what you did to your pops. Like,
Yeah.
your pops jumped out the window for his mom, your grandmother. You didn't even meet her. And his whole thing when he came into the industry is rectifying her legacy. Making sure the people paid that he felt had a problem with, and a part in maybe her death, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? And 50 came at them strategically. And you go and fuck with the people that this nigga 50 openly does not fuck with?
Which I forgot.
Come
You
on,
weren't supposed to take a
man.
picture with that dude.
Come on, man. You weren't supposed to be around them niggas, man.
If you gonna be around, he's supposed to sock him
So,
on TV.
50 speaks to his kids subliminally all the time. Maybe it was in power, maybe it wasn't. But when he was talking to his son in power and he said, by that clean suit, I can see you feel me again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he was talking to Marquise.
He's talking to Marquise.
You know what I'm saying? I think he was talking to Marquise, and I think you should be ashamed of yourself because you could have continued a legacy. You could have been running one of these businesses or being an executive producer on one of these shows that 50 got going. But what does 50 do? He puts his love and his compassion, I don't know if that's a word, but he puts that into his youngest son.
He definitely does.
And I think 50 still love his
You love Marquise, man.
Marquise,
He
but
does.
it's like you got to teach a hard lesson.
Yeah.
And you might not even be able to fuck with your father again. He might not even fuck with you for real.
You know what though?
But you got to learn the
They
lesson.
said
You're
this
not
about
even
50.
getting the fucking lesson.
They said this about 50. 50 when 50 feels like he's right, he's right. And the only thing you ever gotta do is just come apologize to him. He just let that part of that guard down. Like,
But you got to understand. When you at work, right, and your supervisor is questioning you how you moving, and you doing everything by the book because you can lay it out for him because you've been moving by the book when you at work. That's how 50 move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In real life, 50 move like that. He got books with Robert Greene talking about self-conduct. So you already know he's moving in the 48 law of power. It ain't even 48 law of power now. Niggas is trying to move in the mastery way of the 50th law. Niggas thinking they take it to another step.
Yeah.
So they reading the 48 laws and they get into the 50th and then they implementing it all together.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? They're making a nice jumbo pot of game and approach. And I don't think 50 is playing with his son. I think he's trying to show real character and integrity when it boils down to what he's trying to teach Marquise. But it's sad that can't believe he act like that. For a kid that has a parent that's active,
yeah,
man, you tripping. You entitled, my nigga. You entitled, man. You gonna go through hard times when that bread stop. You better go to college, nigga. How old is he?
25 years old.
Oh yeah, shit finna end in a minute, nigga. Shit finna be done, G.
It's over.
That's why you fucking complaining,
It's
nigga.
over. Yeah, that's exactly
That's why you complaining, man. That shit done.
Yeah,
Insurance,
bro.
insurance is done.
Yeah, all you had
Child
to
support is
do,
done.
like you said, is just maybe you could have got employed somewhere. Your dad would have taught you the game.
Come on, man.
Being around them, come on, bro. Him and Tony Yayo just went on $1 million tour. Not $1 million. I'm talking about per stage. You talking
Listen,
$2 or
my
$3
nigga.
million.
Listen, my nigga. Did we just talk about Tony Yayo making himself relevant again?
Yeah. Tony's everywhere.
What
What about
50
you?
Cent, what 50 Cent has taught is that he loves people to death, but he also wants you to get out there and work.
It might cost $5 to
Put
tell
your
everybody not to
grind
even
together.
put you on the stage.
Put your grind together.
That's how simple it is. $5,000 just to tell everybody not to even
Come on,
give you
man.
no
Tony
like.
Yayo even got a hit song.
Man, Tony Yayo is around the hits.
You know what? And I'm gonna tell you what 50
Yeah.
Cent respect. Oh, he grinding?
So that's
Kim gonna get it back on my man's then.
right.
Because it could have been Lloyd Banks. 50 ain't fall out with niggas, but it could be Lloyd
Hey,
Banks.
shout out to Banks. He on
If he
tour
see,
right
if
now
he
too.
see, if he see Lloyd popping or not, I'm gonna throw some juice behind this shit.
Shout out
Build it up a little bit more. Book a couple more artists. Turn this concert up more.
Shout out to Tony Yayo.
Yeah.
Because Tony Yayo just said this on Matt Hoffa shit. He just said you know, he told the game.
Dog,
he told
don't tell me
he
he
told
was on
Lloyd
there.
Banks. He told you know he had murder sitting right next to him.
Some recent
He
shit.
told Buck. Yeah, he got the whole team.
Oh,
the whole-
nigga, you ain't hit me up and tell
I
me.
did. I told Marquise to tell you.
No,
This is
nobody
different
told-
Marquise. His son Marquise.
Man,
No.
nobody fucking told
I
me
did.
that Tony Yayo was
Marquise.
on my expert opinion.
Yeah, he was on there the whole 2 hours,
All right.
and he was going ham. I ain't never seen ham sandwiches served up this
They
way.
don't want me to get no good info.
Dog, he was on there,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? We gotta get some more shit we gotta talk about. Yeah, I gotta go check that out.
He just got done telling all the guys that I just named, like, yo, he said 50 ain't gonna do it. 50 might do it though. He said 50 ain't gonna do it. He said all of us can go on our own tour if we all just come back together. The super
you gotta-
unit
you
is
gotta-
actually really a super group.
Come on,
I didn't even say Spider Low.
Them
Come
niggas-
on, my bad. Beautiful World was a California West Coast hit, man. It was there.
Them niggas got enough acts to where they don't have to get along with each other, man. But they can get out there and go get a bag.
Yayo just said that. He said y'all can go over there with West 100 them.
Men know how
We
to
all-
conduct themselves.
Come
man.
on, man. Let's get this
Men
money.
know how to, you know, if we have to go take our kids on field trips and be chaperones and you got beef with a nigga and you can conduct yourself correctly, then
Yeah.
you can correct. We seen Jeezy and
If they can do it.
Gucci.
Yeah.
You know, we seen
And the
Jeezy-
nigga who got shot over at what's name, they survived. So
yeah.
it's not
man.
like somebody passed away with this.
Man.
Somebody passed away with the Gucci and Goo-Wop situation. Jeezy and Goo-Wop situation.
Yeah. So man, come on, man. Let's get it together. Hey, let me bring something up real quick, man, because I threw this out there. So I checked out most of that Boosie interview on DrinkChamps.
Okay.
And man, let me just say, shout out to fucking DrinkChamps, man.
They've been dropping back
We're
to
gonna talk
back
more about
lately.
we're gonna talk more about the Boosie shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe at a later time too. But shout out to DrinkChamps because their inspiration, watching that show, made niggas want to do that shit.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
watching them come from that apartment to that set is undeniably enticing. Like it makes you want to watch it, and you feel good for the artist when you see it. Nigga, I felt so happy for Boosie to make it to DrinkChamps.
That's his first and second one.
I think that's his first one. I'm gonna double check into it, but I believe that was his first one. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what, man, he looked good in that seat. Pause.
Man,
That's a big,
dog.
that's real shit though.
And I mean, they have a conversation between, and I say this allegedly, between, no, I'm gonna just say two real ones.
Mm-hmm.
Noriega, Boosie Badass.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my nigga D.Y. When D.Y. passed, my nigga Ike called me in the middle of the night. Shout out to my nigga Ike. R.I.P. to my nigga Ike. R.I.P. to my nigga D.Y. And he was on tip. He had something loaded up, ready to go ride on who the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? And I don't get out the bed for niggas. You know what I'm saying? But I got out the fucking bed for my nigga, man. And he never pulled down on me because, you know, He never picked me up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to that funeral, because I had to go, support my nigga. But I went to that funeral. Shout out to Dat Loud. He rolled with me. We in the lap. Had that Savage Life going. You know what I'm saying? But I was off the Webby because of Boosie. You know what I'm saying? So, just to see, you know what I'm saying, my nigga Nori from the time when the nigga was first, not really first started rapping, but that's the era when niggas start picking the pen up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was influenced by that Noriega and Pharrell sound. And now you got the Boosie and Webby getting the nigga through tough times. To see them two niggas on stage together, that shit damn near made me, you know what I'm saying, made me think about so many niggas that ain't here no more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Boosie had just said that on the interview, one of his interviews. It wasn't on Drink Champs. It might have been, but I didn't get to watch the whole interview. But he said most of his fans is dead.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So
damn.
That's kind of that was the energy that niggas, we fled to. Yeah. When Boosie and Webby dropped, Mouse on the Track, that shit had, Pimp C was locked up, but that nigga motherfucking Bum B was dropping, nigga. So niggas, we heard that Boosie shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Off that Bum B and that Trill ENT motherfucking tree.
Shout out to that tree.
You know what I'm saying? So niggas was heavily influenced with that. Niggas had the bag, nigga. I ain't never meet no BMF niggas, but they was in the street then, and niggas was really turned up with the bag, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Which niggas was really living that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a certain energy. And the Carter was out, you know what I'm saying? But that energy, it was that energy. But when Boosie and Webby came out, nigga, it was something. So shout out to DrinkChamps. Shout out to what they do for artists. Shout out for the long way that Nori done came. And shout out to fucking Boosie for being a hustler and showing niggas how to maintain the bag. Boosie was the motherfucking most valuable player during COVID. That nigga was chasing that bag, nigga.
Shout out to him and shout out to Tory Lanez. But, Boosie was on the... Put your lips on live and give you $1,000. Yo, I say this all the time, man. I was riding with my homeboy QC when Boosie was getting out of prison, and his daughter was on the Breakfast Club. They had it recorded, and he was like, "I told y'all niggas," and her dad was getting out. I think that's one of the most famous sound bites that I think I've ever heard. It's so memorable. Besides the Booty Goons, pause, on Breakfast Club. So shout out to the Breakfast Club. Shout out to Boosie Badass, man. Yeah, Not only was the DrinkChamps lit because of Boosie Badass, but also too on Revolt, and then it dropped last night. Kanye West. Kanye West.
He's
I
a
want to say that this is the most genius idiot I've ever seen in my life. First of all, he's a genius due to the fact that he knows how to market himself. Shout out to Noriega for going on Breakfast Club earlier and letting them know, Kanye West wasn't saying anything bad about the Jews to kind of, put that cushion there. Because I understood when I was listening to what Kanye was saying about the Jews to say, he was saying, we are Jews, you the other half, we're this other half here. I won't get into the etymology of any of that, but what I will say is he had a lot of interesting points. We've heard a lot of black people say they were Muslims.
We getting into some shit, yeah.
Christians.
Muslims is out there too. You know what I mean?
That part.
You know what I'm saying?
And as soon as they say,
my indigenous people.
As soon as they say that they're Jewish, all of a sudden you got Jewish women coming forward saying, "I hope you never get to be around your kids again."
And this is the type of shit that this is the type of racism, that, and you gotta remember the 12 tribes weren't all the same complexion.
Right.
You had Esau too.
Yes.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we gotta remember, this is the information age.
Yep.
The age before this was the I think it was the Pisces age, and that's when Jesus was getting awakened.
That's the
Jesus is the people.
Yeah.
When you realize that cave, you roll that stone from in front of that cave and you coming into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We was watching a lot of Sinetta TV. We was doing a lot of research. Niggas was doing some.
Shout out to Bobby Hemmett.
Niggas was man. Shout out to Bobby Hemmett, one of the greatest master teachers. Shout out to Dr. Henry Clark.
Yes.
Shout out to this is Henry Clark. And shout out to Dr. It's Henry Clark, and shout out to I gotta get into the other name, but we was into learning about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when we do that, it's a slap in the face when you say the people from them warmer climates aren't a darker complexion. It's a major slap in the face. John Henry Clark is who I was talking about, and I gotta remember the other master teacher. But a lot of these master teachers, you know, they taught us about ourselves. Even when you go back to, you know, Minister Farrakhan, and you learn about the 12 tribes of Shabazz, and you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all allegorical, but it's real at the same time. You gotta realize what's going on. And Kanye is one of the people that's self-manifesting his destiny. And that's what black folks have to get back into, creating again.
Yeah.
And in creation, we realize what God is. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he gonna have some flashback.
Yeah.
He gonna have some flashback. But when we look at, if we go into etymology and we realize that black and white are two terms to classify, and you know, free white persons were black people back in the day. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It make you wonder what do white lives matter mean. You feel me?
So now, you saying that, and I understood his point from him saying white lives matter.
But I'm talking about in a way that you've had to have walked some certain type of path to have certain other information other than whatever is shared on your timeline on Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. I see where you're coming from.
That's why I threw out the Sinetta TV and the different lectures that lead you into going and doing some other research. So where we talk about the Bobby Hemmitts and we talk about you know, the molecular structure of a black man and what pigmentation and melanin and chlorophyll, how closely they're related, but in two different organisms of existence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we look at the scientific path that black people were on from the past, and that's really what Kanye's bag has been into. It could be looked at as arrogance, or it could be looked at as, what do this nigga think he know what he talking about? And then you have to know thyself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta go and wonder why they don't want the N-word being used, or why it's still being used.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about things. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas gotta go back, and when you said it is crazy, you said we're not gonna go into the etymology, but if you go into the etymology and you know the words and you know the spells you casting when you're talking about these words, because you casting spells.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we do our TV, our phones.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a big believer of that too. You know, just the spell part, just really quick, and to add a little bit of Kanye in there. And I'm paraphrasing when I say this, but he said somebody told him, no, he said God. He said God told him in this time now, from here on out, to go harder than he's ever gone. It doesn't matter who's offended or not. Just go hard. And why? I'm gonna let you have that back based on the fact that I still believe in the God that's inside of me. Don't get me wrong, I believe that the God is amongst us as well, but God is also here. God
you know, I don't really. It ain't my place to tell me how to believe, because everybody gonna have different awakenings in themselves. You dig what I'm saying? Like, if your awakening make you be a good follower, and this is how you walk with God, that's you. You know, my awakening might be, you know, I hold myself to a king's standard, so I got to do kingly actions. I got to think different. You
so
know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
reason why I was that adds to my point to say, like, I don't at all feel like Kanye is anywhere near wrong. I feel like he's
If we feel like Kanye wrong, then we have to feel like Lauryn Hill is wrong.
I can't see. There you go.
We have to feel like Erykah Badu is wrong.
Yeah.
We have to feel like the Bible itself is wrong, because even Jesus said you'll be able to do more than he was.
She said Erykah Badu said some of the strongest shit that still lives with me today. Every year there's a different meaning, but it's the same that adds to itself on. It's like levels to it. We were made in his commission, called us by our name.
And that's what I just said. But Jesus said it before she said it.
Yeah.
He said you'll be able to, he said, are ye not gods? He said it in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? He was talking to black folks. It was some white folks there too. So that's the thing. That's the control. They want you to think that they're only able to create these magnificent things in life.
Right.
But we're able to manifest, but in the manifestation, you get the steps.
Yeah.
And your steps are ordered.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
Once you get the steps and you get they become they're ordered, you just put your feet in them and you just walk day by day.
Yep.
And you realize that God has been walking with you.
Yep.
Inside and out, as above, so below, as within,
So
as
without.
without.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to learn how to watch the signs. Pac told you a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. The levels to it, like
You know
it's
what I'm
like more awakening experience.
So
every-
am I, you know, who am I to judge, my nigga? Like, you know, I often have to tell myself because we as human beings, we get into condemnation of
So-
different people.
So the other side of, you know, I want to speak to the White Lives Matter shirt that he wore, and
And that's just my take on it, because Kanye is an art buff. So I have to look at it in an artistic way, like I'm walking in the gallery of Kanye West. And with that exhibit, I'm seeing what I saw, what I explained. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah, most definitely. Again, to add to that too, like, you know, with the White Lives Matter shirt. Again, he just said he's in an exhibit. Art imitates life. If I'm a black man and I'm wearing a White Lives Matter shirt and I have kids that are half white, they matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Their parents, even if I don't like them, actually matter to me. It's important for that child's parents to be there. And then it brings me back to, how can I say this? I forget the word for it, but to not be racist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's to not be racist 100%. If you're not racist towards black people and you say you're not racist, it doesn't just apply to black people. Forget racist. If you're not a bigot and you say you're not a bigot, when somebody else flexes, you know, their whatever nationality, skin color, and all that kind of stuff, it's almost kind of like you gotta let them do it.
But I think Kanye, and I'm looking at it again because I've done a lot of research about a lot of different stuff, and I look at it like one of the things that Kanye was able to do was make you look at things in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've been taught in a different way, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you learn different strategy, and I think that when you look at it in a way of semantics, like, does this shit exist or is it an illusion? You feel what I'm saying? Like when we look at, like we talking about racism, race don't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Only ethnicity and culture. Race don't exist.
Yeah.
Race is something that was created by the Europeans, which is an African word. You know what I'm
Europa
saying?
came from the Queen Europa.
Which is an African word. And in that, we lose greatness when we realize that the etymology and the origin of some of these words, some of these languages, and some of the things that were going on in the time where these things were derived, black folks had activity in. You know what I'm saying? As a person that's in class, you know, as we speak in real time, taking 2 history classes right now, I see how we have been expunged out of history.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like going in, like we going in. My 9th week we gonna talk about Africa. My 1st week we talked about Mesopotamia. My 2nd week we talked about fucking the Near East and Egypt. When the fuck did Egypt and Mesopotamia get out of Africa?
That's weird.
You dig what I'm saying?
They're all
You separating things.
Yeah.
You separating things.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna talk about Egypt, you gotta talk about the Nubians.
That's almost like saying South Africa ain't Africa.
You gotta feel me. If you're gonna talk about the Egyptians, you gotta talk about the Nubians.
Yes. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? We didn't talk about the motherfucking kingdom of Mali. We probably gonna get into that when we get into Africa. But King Mansa Musa bankrupt Egypt for a day. You know what I'm saying? Fucking around, passing out too much gold.
That part right
we
there
can't
is
say that. Hold on, we can't say that Egypt is the height of civilization when we got pyramids globally and we got motherfucking riches and wealth that was global. We didn't have Egypt in one place. You know what I'm saying? We had intelligent structure, conduct, and civility in other places.
Yeah. They found pyramids in
There's pyramids in the Grand Canyon.
the Grand Canyon. They also, and I heard this too.
They older than the ones in Egypt.
This is the wild part to me, and I don't know if it's a metaphor, but they said if you walk a certain place in the Grand Canyon, you can get to Egypt. And I was like, okay, I don't put nothing past anything there. That's number one. And number two, you know, with flat earth theory and everything else that's going around, and it's not, I can't say going around, I'm talking about it's actually in plain sight. A lot of things are in plain sight that's hidden from us. So I don't put anything past anything. You know what I mean? And the way our flight systems are set up, we always go with a curvature. And I'm not talking about with the earth, I'm talking about the planes fly at a curve. You get what I'm saying? Whenever you're settling down. And I'm not saying that everybody's under some spell to have to fly a certain kind of way. But at the same time, we are. That's how we drive, right?
Life is one of them things, but like some shit you just ain't supposed to understand.
We can spend our time doing that, and if we gonna get into planes and fly, that's dope. But sometimes, like when we get into the flat Earth shit, unless you finna apply that to something and make some bread off that shit, niggas will end up hating each other and calling each other stupid. Because of the discussion.
Yeah. It goes into it.
But why not put that kind of energy into economical discussions? Put that kind of imagery into economic. Think about some shit that could be practical. That's like going to get a music degree when you could have got one in law.
I say that to say, people drive on the right side of the road here in the United States of America, and over in Germany, they drive on the left.
Perception is reality.
That's where I was going with that.
Perception is reality.
That's where I was going with that.
Whatever you think is right is right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean be wild, but everything ain't what everything is just supposed to be. You know, everybody you gotta respect difference.
Yeah.
And diversity. You know what I'm saying? Because how are you gonna be a cultured man if you don't understand culture? And every time I think that Nick Cannon took the first cannon to the face when it was talked about on his show when they snatched everything from him.
Yeah.
But it was true what he was saying.
Yeah. And they know it was true. That's
You know
why
what
they
I'm
wanted a
saying?
public apology from him and all that.
But it's crazy when we know it's true, but we're not supposed to say it. Like, you have, so if you want to look at DNA, there are a number of people in South Africa who have DNA connected to Jewish people. Not even Jewish, but Jews.
Jews, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If we talking about Jews, people of that area, you got people from South Africa. So that's a long way from Jerusalem.
Right.
But the way that these stories go and how these people have been wandering and how they've been expelled to different lands, it makes you wonder.
You took that right out of my head because if I'm not mistaken,
Why would the people that are there now be the people? If the people that are there were there were pushed around and put into slavery in different aspects of life.
I was just gonna say there's records that's showing them that they were moving to different areas throughout the time to escape bondage.
And the thing with
And other people moving in.
Kanye is like, when you know yourself, you can do better. When you know, our stepdad used to tell us all the time, when you know better, you can do better.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I practice that in my life. Like when I go to work, like I said, my boss can't present me with bullshit if I'm on real time type shit when I'm at work. If I'm at work and I'm taking work serious, I ain't got time to bullshit. Oh yeah, I heard my coworker say they think I just be ducked off chilling. Then how is all this getting done?
The work speaks for itself.
And that's what I've learned to do is focus in. Don't worry about the naysayers. Don't worry about people that are too much involved in what you have going on in your life.
It's gonna deliver results, man.
Work with the people that are like-minded and build.
Yep.
Learn. Teach. That's the cycle of life. Learn and teach.
Yeah.
That's all we gotta do. And when we learn that, then maybe we can see things in a different perspective. But the paradigms have to shift. Maybe instead of, and it ain't really gonna happen like this. But instead of always going at cats in a way, in a manner that you just feel like he can be, you know, we can learn from our mistakes more efficiently instead of over time. Then maybe we can approach it with less criticism. But instead of when we go to look at exhibits, like I said, we don't start yelling in the museum. And life is a museum. It's a moving museum. And when you look at the spectacles, when you look at the exhibits, sometimes it's about going to do the research and what this nigga mean. Sometimes, like when I watch movies now, and then I'm like, man, that movie sucked. But then when I go look what it meant, it's like, damn, that was ingenious.
I definitely see a lot of symbology in these movies today. it's crazy you said that because I got away from movies for a while, and I like to learn. So I study just everything. Anything that interests me, I study. And the more I study, the more when I do say, okay, I'm gonna take my time out here and I'm gonna just watch this movie. I see the symbology in things where it's like at first when I was a kid and I used to double back on a movie, or rewind something. I used to rewind something and hear it again, and then catch the whole meaning. Now I find myself doing that with movies to have a better understanding of them, not because I misunderstood, but because now I'm seeing more symbols, either through the words, through the symbols that you see, and the colors that they cast. One thing that we took was the system from Hitler, actually, with propaganda, and that's all into spells. We took a lot of the color coding that they use to put out certain propagandas and things like that. So I think it's just more or less being aware of what you're taking in, and it's giving me a more respect for everything that I watch now. Even to when I feel like I'm not paying attention to something, I'll say to myself, you know what? I'm gonna come back at a later time and I'm gonna really sit down and watch this actually, so I can really appreciate it. And art imitating life.
And that's why I say we gotta remember who we dealing with. Know your personnel. We know that Kanye is doing something. If he's doing it to make you think and do some research.
Yeah.
And check into what his reason for doing something is.
Yes.
'Cause a lot of times you know, even if you explain to people, they don't believe you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anytime we do something, we have to come to the realization everybody's not gonna be pleased. So live your life.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to judge nobody. We're not here to throw criticism. We're just here to look at life and then do some research on it.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to DrinkChamps again, man, because it went from a podcast where they were talking about hip hop to now they talk about things and they give artists a platform to say things that may not be acceptable in different arenas.
Yeah. Yeah. And shout out to the woke people out there. And I'm not. Woke don't mean you just black. Woke just means that you read.
And I mean, I don't know if they down with Revolt still. Are they still down with Revolt?
It dropped the Revolt first.
So I have to say shout out to Puff Daddy too, because you're allowing that type of energy to come out.
Shout out to Puffy, because a lot of people would have said, well, he slaughtered Puffy on this one, and he did. But Puffy still is a business mindset that still says this is good for the culture.
It's good for the culture. It's good for the culture, and I like that. What I really like and appreciate, and this guy had nothing to do with it, is Jay-Z giving the symbolism of what a black man is supposed to look like in the faces of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not saying that, you know, some people say he copying the Basquiat look, but come on, man, it's rosters that look like Basquiat.
Anytime somebody gets that known, they want to compare. Oh, he's taking. Listen, man, we all take something from somewhere, man.
So it's just, I just want to say, you know, and I don't know if it's to still further damage the black community, but I'd rather us be damaged with our own culture than outside culture.
I took shit from Jerry Lorenzo. That's Fear God. I took shit from Nipsey Hussle. That's The Marathon. I took shit from Virgil Abloh. You know what I'm saying? That's Off-White. I love all those.
And then that, what Kanye was saying about Virgil, makes you go back to that song that Dirk made and wonder what happened
with Virgil. Yeah. So
was you not following what the elite wanted you to or something? Is Dapper Dan following what the elite wants him to?
Shout out to Dapper Dan. I meant to say that as well.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is he not? Is he scaling back because he don't want to be done the same way?
Well,
because at the end of the day, if it's some foul play in that shit, y'all telling me that y'all doing this shit because of fashion, my nigga?
Well, all of it is symbology.
Man,
it's all got symbols in it. Everywhere from the way you seen Thug dress with the skirts. You see it all the time in movies where they make certain people put on dresses.
But I think these guys, now that we're looking deeper into it, it's like, man, I'm chasing the bag for my family, right?
Right.
I'm going to do whatever the trend. They're going to talk about me. So if I drop a project this week, it's going to sell.
Yeah. In comparison, you could definitely say that.
So
with that being said, I want to say shout out to Kanye West, and I also want to say thank you to DrinkChamps too, because they helped open up the algorithm. You can check this right here too. Yesterday, my channel did 20,139 views, and this was all in a day. That's number one. We got 24 new followers.
Salute to you, my guy.
Oh man, that's all
Appreciate
part
you bringing me in.
Oh man, shit. I could, sometimes man, this is a group effort right here, man.
The subscribers have went up tremendously.
Yeah, it's just
So it's like
this is it. It's all this is a culture. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So without Kanye West, without urban news,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? This wouldn't exist right here.
No, I'm not saying don't have an opinion and don't hold each other accountable, but just look at it from a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything that we look at it from a lot of different perspectives. Like we said a few shows back, we're not going to be the type of guys that's going to criticize artists on here. We're not going to, now if you whack 100, we might holler at you about shit on here, you know what I'm saying? But when it come down to what's going on, we trying to be as unbiased as possible.
Right.
Non-biased, if that's where we're supposed to put it. You know, we're not trained media people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're trying to move
We
with.
just media people in training, baby.
Yeah. Training. Then we got Denzel. He coming back from the store. We got him on the store run with the Nas playing.
Shout out to Kanye West. Shout out to DrinkChamps. Shout out to T Grizzly. Shout out to the whole urban culture. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. We all one. As above, so below. As within, so without. That's what this all is. You know what I'm saying? So
know thyself.
blessings.